Mike, and we are gone. Wow, that's fast.
What?
Good morning. We're at Suzilla, Wenatchee Insurance on
Yes.
Mission Street in Wenatchee.
Yes. What was
Well, what was fast is this is one of those, because we've been doing our infrastructure update. I was able to click on, and it went on poof instantly.
What wasn't there's no delay?
There's no lag like it used to.
Oh, well, that must be still really nice.
Yeah.
I know that my computer's been moving a little more quickly just generally because of that infrastructure update. So I'm not unhappy about that. Although I was fighting with my camera this morning, which I really do like to have because that's how I log in on my computer, as it does the facial recognition. I mean, yeah, there are backups, but I do like the facial recognition. I like that layer of security.
So we're not going to get into infrastructure today.
No.
We'll talk about that later because
Yes.
we're doing exciting things with that. But today we're going to talk about signage.
That's right. And logos and how to make your business look professional and pop out.
Well, it's a
Some
good
of that
time
thing.
because it's spring cleaning.
That's true.
Flowers burst out, so you want to have that fresh look. And it's like, okay, so let's get into the fresh look. We can either do you want to start with internet or we want to start with a physical?
Physical, and then because it all ties together. So one thing that we did a little over a year ago was totally rebrand.
Yes, completely. It took a period of less than 2 weeks.
Yeah. We got away from our old logo and moved into the Wenatchee Insurance logo, which we created, but we totally re-signed everything and got our logo up in different spots.
Yeah, we have this is one of those things. If you're in a modest sized city, you might have a sign shop.
Yeah. We might have more than one. We have more than one.
We have, and it's important to foster a good relationship. I've had them produce a bunch of different signs over the years.
Oh gosh, yeah. Nikki at Quick Signs is just the bomb.
And we had this logo for about a year and a half at that point.
Yeah. Insurance logo. Shayla designed it.
Shayla designed it, and within 6 months had one on their door.
Right, and it looks great.
And
we had sweatshirts and stuff.
And we got sweatshirts, and because we had another printer that specializes in vinyl work.
Right.
For like your t-shirts and sweatshirts and stuff.
Yeah.
So we had that going, like I said, about a year and a half already.
Yeah. We've been chugging along with that for
And it's a very superhero feel. It's a very welcoming, and
it's not typical.
It's not typical, but it is at the same time.
Yeah, it hits a bunch of different points. It's familiar in the superhero sense. Mm-hmm. It's got familiar colors. It's not.
And it breaks some rules.
It does break some rules. It's also very readable.
Yeah, it hits my 20-foot rule for t-shirts.
Oh, beautifully.
And we have it on our local hockey team.
Right.
Which we sponsor. And I don't know if he's just he's one of the brand managers for them, and he admires the design because it goes with just about everything.
Yeah, it really does. It uses a lot of primary colors, reds and blues.
It's got a wide spectrum.
Yeah, it does. So it really doesn't clash with anything.
No, it doesn't.
If it were orange or lime green, it might clash. We've had orange at times, orange and brown.
Yes, we did. We did a lot of orange and brown. That's early. We went from the green to kind of an orange.
Yeah.
A safety orange.
Yeah. A little more umbery than safety orange.
Yeah. But it was that mid-century color palette.
Yeah, we went with a mid-century modern color palette, and we've gotten to more of a superhero style color.
Yeah, it's a lot more flashy. It's a lot more intense.
Yeah, it's more saturated.
It's emerald tones. and we use kind of a watercolor bleed.
Yeah, the jewel tones really,
Yeah.
do coordinate nicely, and it's got it's got lightning and movement, and I'm really tickled with our logo right now.
Hmm.
And like Dave said, the Wenatchee Wild Guy is it doesn't clash with anything. It goes along with everything that they have. It goes right with the Wenatchee Wild colors of the blues, and when they go, pink for breast cancer awareness, it goes with that. It goes with the other sponsors' logos and stuff pretty well. It's just we just hit the points. Now you mentioned that our logo breaks a couple of rules. What rules is it breaking?
Well, the first one right out of the gate is the amount of colors.
Oh, yeah. Usually you want to go with what, one or two.
Two or three. Three is the most,
Uh,
and that's generally done because you want to limit on. It's an old school rule,
mhm.
primarily because of printing ink.
Oh, that's true. But with the new methods of printing, it's less of an issue.
Yeah, but still, you still do some traditional print, and that's where you start to run into costs.
Yeah, it does
When
increase your cost.
it increase your costs, that's one way to keep costs down. When you go and for example, producing a bag.
Uh-huh.
We've been famous for our bags, and it's one of those things that if you've got two colors,
It's not so
it's
bad.
an upcharge. Three colors is kind of ridiculous. And
If you're doing four colors, you might as well just go by the print shop. Now, one thing that's also true about our logo is it does monotone nicely.
yes,
You can go to white or black and it still pops because of the cutouts.
hmm
So it works.
so yeah, it works. So yeah, you have a strong brand that's you.
Yes. The
And
important thing is that it is you.
yeah, we can't stress that enough because we've seen a lot of kind of whitewashing corporate stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Blandizing.
yeah, some blandizing. I like that. The guy, the last couple of years, it's been the shrink ray. This is the blandizer.
Yeah. Well, another thing that you pointed out is when people paint their uh, uh, commercial buildings, it's all that sand, that boring sand color or gray color.
Yes,
Yeah.
it
I
does
mean,
not stand out
no,
well.
the Windmill Restaurant here in town
Hmm.
was famous for having a sort of a Dutch look,
Yeah.
white with blue trim. The building was white. It had a blue, literal windmill blades,
Oh yeah.
and they painted it that sand brown, and it lost a lot of its charm, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. And that's one of those things. It's like, okay, it's cool that you threw some new paint on it, but
Did it have to be so boring?
why did you get away from the that feel
The
that had been around since the 50s?
the traditional windmill look,
Yeah.
which is, the Delft white and blue. Why? I never did know why they got away from that.
No, it was probably an ownership change, and it's like, what's the it doesn't make sense.
No, it didn't.
We've got a windmill restaurant. What was that, Gold Bar or Sultan, and they've been sliding away from that as well.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, white is one of those things that if you've got a lot of white, it's difficult to keep up.
It is. You have to be really on top of that. You have to keep it, especially around here. We have with
Spider mites.
spider mites, which can create a really weird looking.
Yeah, it creates an early Halloween feel.
Yeah, there you go. And they like white to gather on. White, if there's lights and it's white colored, they are attracted to it. So you end up with these little poofs of weird webby things, and you got to keep that knocked back.
No, we make it a point to go out and actually we'll dust our sign.
Yeah, we dust it. We take the bugs off of it. If there's bugs on it, we keep it. It's upkeep. So,
yeah, and
now to be fair, we can reach it.
Even if we couldn't reach it, we'd have a pole.
Yeah, that's true.
There are some signs out there that are just, what are you thinking, sort of deal.
Yeah, we were driving through town this morning and we're going, that needs some refreshing.
Okay, if you're gonna sponsor a team, this is one of my pet peeves that are out there. If you're gonna sponsor an event or a team and you're gonna use a temporary banner,
Oh, yeah, that just,
first of all, make sure it's temporary.
yes.
Second of all, treat it like your own.
Okay.
Because I've seen a bunch of the just kind of haphazard throw it down and
It looks sloppy.
it looks sloppy and it's not doing your sponsorship any good.
No. It makes it's like having a couch on your front porch.
Yeah, it's kind of going through the motions and of it's like, well, why are you sponsoring? Are you proud of them?
Mhm. So, and then, our local, one of our soda pop bottlers does free banners.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so you see those all over the place, and they're vinyl banners, and
Mhm.
they're perfectly great for temporary signage. For hey, signups, softball signups, baseball signups, stuff like that, plays, thing along those
Yeah.
lines. And it's important to have them look neat in front of your
Mhm.
business and have them, that kind of thing. And then when it's done, take the darn things down. Oh my gosh. That is a pet peeve of mine so bad is driving past something and it had a date range on it that was 6 months old. It's like, take the stupid thing down.
Yeah.
If you are a event that has put banners up, go back out and take them down. It does not endear you to the community to have ancient banners hanging up.
No.
No.
It's one of those things that you gotta do some maintenance.
Well, I say the same thing about political signs. There's still a lot of I've seen signs up from the 2016 election.
Yeah, that's a kind of a bad look.
It is a bad look because they get tatty and they get rotten, and then it's like, but this guy isn't in office, nor are they running anymore. It's like, stop it.
Have some pride and ownership.
You have some pride in your neighborhood.
Yeah, I'm a big one for businesses not having political signs.
Yeah, I think that's not a good look, generally speaking, to be stumping for a specific politician usually. It just doesn't work for me. And if you're in a complex where you've got more than one business, you could be running into conflicting political stances, which
Mhm.
could create some real problems. You put up a banner for, Joe Smith in the Green Potato Party, and the person who's in the building,
Mhm.
one of the people in the building is supporting, Joe Jones in the Red Apple Party, and suddenly there's a conflict that is kind of unnecessary.
Well, yeah, you shouldn't be supporting politicians or parties.
Well, okay, in your business,
Yeah.
that's an interesting statement from you.
Well,
Well, okay, now from our business
yeah.
standpoint, we are very, but I don't want to say bipartisan, but we try to be this. We support everybody. Everybody that walks in our door is treated the same.
We have the full range,
Mhm.
and that's because we support individuals
Right,
over corporations.
right. So that's exactly correct. Now, from a personal standpoint, that's great, but we also don't talk about. Well, no, we do talk about politics in our.
We do. You cannot.
You can't. You can't not, especially in this industry. But listen to our podcast. We talk about politics.
Yeah, it's you can talk about politics. It's not, hey, this is the person. No, it's, hey, this is the policy.
There you go. That was the phrase I was looking for.
Eh.
Well, we're not looking for politicians. We're looking for politics.
Yes, and then it's a very distinct difference, and the measuring stick that I literally use is, okay, does this support an individual rights
Mhm.
or does it support a corporate rights?
There you go. We're a big fan of individual rights around here.
Yeah.
Because corporate America is.
It's got all the help it needs.
There you go. That's a great way to put it. It doesn't need our assistance.
It doesn't need our assistance. It's got, wow, corporations are people now. It's got that level of insanity, so I'm not going to contribute to that level of insanity. However, people on the other hand need some additional support. And one of the aspects out there, I'm gonna walk right into it, is the rainbow flag.
Right. Now, the question is, there's those who look at the rainbow flag
Mhm.
as purely political. There are those who point out that it is not political, it's something completely different. It's just a symbol saying, hey, I support people who are LGBTQIA
Mhm.
plus, you know? Finish your sentence though.
We had a fight famously recently of is libraries in Okanagan,
Yeah.
and they made an inclusive space
Yeah.
so that members of the LGBTQ plus community would feel welcome and safe.
Seems reasonable to me.
Seems reasonable to you. However, you had a small minority that tried to flip the conversation, saying that they felt attacked.
But they weren't being attacked.
Correct. However, they gave lip service in that manner, and that they were scared of it, and kind of highlighted the importance of having that inclusive space. In our industry, there has been horror story after horror story of LGBTQ members that have been discriminated against.
Oh, very much so.
So much that when they did the ACA, they said, hey, we're going to pass laws to protect people.
Oh, yeah.
We've further in Washington state have passed laws for protection of trans people. And that's really important to, it's like, okay, how do we make people feel safe so they can have a conversation? One of the easiest ways that is done is having a presence of a simple, hey, inclusive symbol like the rainbow.
There you go. And that's something you just need to be aware of.
Yeah. And at the same time, some people will take offense to that. And so me and my big gruff bearded self say, yeah, that is so that all people know that they are welcome and supported.
There you go. And that's part of our signage concept.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. Although other people have a go with a different tactic, and that's their prerogative. I mean, we've got a lot of businesses that use the American flag as part of their signage or their symbology on their advertising.
And that's one of those ones that's like, cool. However, you're going to run into some problems with that.
Mhm.
One of the classic ones, are you following the flag code?
Yeah, that's a big one. And then that leads to another question. It's like, okay, you've got a flag up. That's great. That's per your sign. What do you do when you want to change it up? And people get, we were discussing this the other day about how the American flag, you can put it up, but it's very hard to stop using it.
Oh yeah, we've got a couple that are down in the industrial section of our town that like to fly the flag 24/7, not properly lit, in an improper fashion. Me as a military vet, I queue up on it instantly. It's like, yeah, that's wrong, and move on. There are some people that do that, and it's like, oh well, you can't, protesters can't burn flags, or protesters can't do them upside down if they're doing an event counter to them. Yet they have no problems defacing it.
Yeah.
When it's like, oh, let's do it all black, or let's print on a article of clothing or my paper plate.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and superimpose other pictures upon it.
Yeah, it's like
the disconnect is weird.
It really is weird, and it's like I said, if you want to use the flag, cool. Use the flag, use it properly.
Using symbology on your logo is super common.
Yeah.
For a long time, the what's commonly called the Jesus fish.
Yes.
Was a indicator that, hey, my business is a Christian-owned business, so you should support it. And it implied that this was a upstanding citizen.
I think the flag in some ways has replaced the Jesus
I think
fish.
you're not wrong. I think that's very possible because you don't see you see the swap on that a lot more. You don't
Yeah.
see the little fishes often.
No, you don't see the little fishes. It was popular in like the 90s,
Mm-hmm.
and it just kind of faded out as the flag rose.
Yeah, that's actually, yeah, you're probably right there. So, but that's another example. But if you are okay, when you're creating your logo and when you're putting up your sign, you want it to be visible, you want it to be easy to read, you want it to be lit properly. One of the things that bugs me is when your light bulbs on your sign, if you've got a fully lit sign and your light bulbs burn out, and then suddenly it's saying, I ate.
Yeah, it just.
It's like, and I know it costs money and it takes time to get those replaced. Now, the good news is with LEDs, it's becoming less and less of an issue.
Yeah, because those things go.
They gangbusters for a long time, and there's some really neat looking signs. That dental place that does wisdom teeth, for example, has a
the backlit multicolored LEDs.
Great looking backlit sign. I like it.
That is amazing.
It looks so good. And it's so affordable. Mm-hmm. And it's so affordable to make it to make your sign pop and be interesting.
Oh, I'm sure because of the size and the tie-ins that ran between $1,500 and $2,500 installed.
That's still
installed.
That's still affordable.
Yeah.
That's still affordable for a permanent sign installation.
Oh yeah.
Because before that you could be looking at a whole lot more actually.
Yeah, you're looking. We used to price about $25 to $5.
Yeah, in a heartbeat. I don't remember how much ours. Ours is just a big frame with a vinyl on tin.
It's got substrate. I can't remember.
Yeah, substrate.
Yeah, it
wasn't that expensive, but sparkly, so it pops nice in the sun.
Yeah, we spent the extra, I think, $50 to $100 to get the sparkle overlay, and
it looks great.
So it looks amazing. But we've had that traditional sparkle in our signs for a long time.
Oh, yeah, we like that little zing in there. So make sure your lights work. Make sure that you don't have bugs all over it. Make sure that it's readable, that it's attractive, and once in a while, refresh it.
Oh yeah.
Once in a while, every 5 or 10 years, put up a new sign.
Okay, for vinyl, heavy sun exposure is not designed to last more than
it's like 3 years.
3 to 5 years is the top end.
We have seen something happen with a particular style of vinyl that was being put up around our town, and it is disintegrating. There's at least 6 businesses I can think of off the top of my head that their vinyl signs have they've turned black, they've cracked and peeled. It looks horrible.
Yeah, it's the a bunch of them initially was the yellow.
Yeah.
The yellow, we had a series of bad smoky summers, and so we had this red filtered light, and it just hammered the signs.
Oh, it's totally did. The UV was just ate them up.
Mm-hmm.
Ate them up. And so things you need to, and it's not cheap to replace that, but it's so much more cost effective than having.
What is that telling the customers?
Exactly. You are telling your customers that your business is bad enough they can't replace your basic sign.
Well, we've had large corporations not spend time in their outside maintenance.
Oh yeah.
So they had like weeds growing up and stuff, and it looked horrible.
Oh yeah, there was one store that finally just closed down corporately.
Mm-hmm.
That drove Matt nuts because it did not keep up with their landscaping.
Yeah.
And it looked horrible. And that's something that you really, that your exterior presentation is very important. It's, in the real estate world, it's curb appeal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your logo, your symbol, your sign is your number one eye catch.
It's your shining beacon.
It is. So make sure it looks good.
Yeah.
And that it represents you and that you're proud of it.
And that's one of the things that is really difficult if you're running a corporate run business.
Yeah, that does make it harder.
Because as a small business, we have the character and charm of small town,
Yeah.
which is incredibly useful in the age of boycotts.
You're right.
Because someone walks in and it's like, hey, Wenatchee Insurance, I want to use you instead of Farm America or whatever insurance companies out there. And the reason often is because they see the logo, they see the name, and it's not common.
Mhm.
It's to our particular area.
Uh-huh. We chose Wenatchee for a reason because this is home.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. We were driving in Seattle at an event, window down because it was kind of nice, and then we were coming back in the afternoon, and someone says, "Hey, I used to live in Wenatchee," and we're like, "Awesome!" And yeah, it everyone can easily identify it, no matter where you are in the state.
Yeah.
And that's why we picked that. It was something unique and invokes a feeling.
Yes. We should we try to make it a positive feeling.
So yeah, having signage and names and logos and stuff that is very unique and specific is very, very important. I've been going through, and one of the things is I'm trying to design something welcoming for my office.
Yes.
And it's a complex thing because Susie's got a little heart wreath, looks great. Shayla's got a Wenatchee Insurance logo, awesome. And been trying to do something that's modest, and I think I've got it. And I'm going, since I've been doing a lot of pop culture things, I'm probably going to lean into one of the things and surprise the team with it.
Okay.
It's one of those things. Is I design things, and it's a work in process. One of the things I did do just is I've been designing my office as kind of this weird little space, and everyone who walks in the door right now, currently, there are two things they see that strikes their attention. One is my kitty poster, just right off the bat, just bam. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do with it yet. It's going to change. The second thing is the bright red, shiny midget Frigidaire refrigerator.
Yeah, it's true. Although your portrait catches.
That's number 3.
Yeah, that's got a portrait of itself. But I got it for Christmas.
Usually it's a left to right scan.
Oh, absolutely, and the refrigerator definitely pops.
Yeah, so I'm starting to put in those elements of pop, and it's like I've got to do something at the front door that
says Matt.
That says Matt. This is something unique, and you will have spaces like that as you go from the outside in, and that is welcoming and inviting, and it's like, okay, it's layers.
Yes, absolutely.
These are layers of welcoming. It's like, okay, well, how do I get this? And then you have layers of exit. And that's on how you design spaces. We've only got I think we're gonna have to leave it for another time. Talking about web presence.
Oh yeah, that's a whole other. We'll tackle that next week maybe.
But yeah, it's springtime. Look at your signage.
Yeah, go outside, take a look, see if it needs some freshening.
Yeah.
Get a desk mop on a stick. That might be all it needs.
Mm-hmm. And it can definitely change. We get at least now about half a dozen walk-ins a week.
Yeah, generally speaking. Yeah.
These are people that are just
Out of the flip and blue.
Out of the flip and blue, and it happens on a regular basis, and it's like, okay, cool. But that's just from having an exterior that is inviting and well signed.
There you go. Makes all the difference in the world. This is a good place to stop. All right. Hey, thanks very much. Have a great week. We will see you. We will speak again next Thursday.
Next Thursday. Bye.